If you're over 40, 50, or even 60, and you're quietly wondering why success doesn't feel like it was supposed to, you've been working 20, 30, 40 years to get where you are and to make it, whatever making it meant to you, and it doesn't feel the way you thought it would. If that's the case, this conversation's for you. Not because something's wrong, but because things are becoming completed. Life has been a process, it's been a journey, and we've lived in a culture that treats aging like decline. But what I see again and again is that leaders over 40 or 50 are not in decline. I was speaking to my daughter yesterday who has a child just out of college. And my daughter was feeling old. So if she's old, imagine how that could have made me feel, except for the realization that we were talking about wisdom and the accumulation of wisdom that comes as we age. And now each one of us wishes our wisdom could be achieved by a younger generation faster, quicker, with much less stress than it took us to get there. Because for so many of us, we paid a price to achieve that wisdom. So when we think about it, aging is really the gift. It's a gift where we learn more, we let go of more, and we evolve more. And when we are in leadership, we have had a willingness to develop a huge part of who we are, to take that to the next level, to take our strengths to the next level, our knowledge to the next level. But at some point in time, you realize that now it's about taking our wisdom to the next level. When you look at it that way, it really means that the unnecessary things in life are falling away. It's pretending we've got all the answers, pretending we've finished growing, whatever that means, is exhausting. Pretense is always exhausting. And the question shifts from really, what more can I achieve, to what actually matters now. When we don't need to keep striving outwardly, when we don't keep needing to push, when we're naturally on a movement, we're naturally flowing, we're naturally growing in terms of our careers or our lives, the question becomes now, what is more rewarding for us? What is more filling for us? It's really, we learn how to stop pushing and recognizing we're already capable, we're already responsible, we're already impressive. Adaptation is not the same as increasing authority, and it's not the same as giving authority up. Adaptation is much more about recognizing that there comes a moment, frequently it's in our 50s or 60s, but clearly it could be in our 40s, when the cost of wearing what once worked, values that once motivated us, the cost of carrying them becomes far higher than the risk of taking it all off. There's a moment that nobody prepares for because it's an identity shift we don't think about, we're not trained to look at. When our external authority is solid, people know who we are, they know our expertise, they know, I've been told more than once, do you realize you're an icon? Sure, I'll be an icon if that's a word that works for you, that allows you to define me. It's certainly not something my ego needs, but all right. But what happens is that when your internal authority begins to mature, when that internal sense of this is who I am, and I know what I know because of the life I've lived, you don't think in terms of speaking louder. You don't think in terms of being bigger. What you think in terms of is going deeper. This is not a crisis situation. It's simply an invitation to you to take a look. Are you ready to look deeper? Are you ready to really achieve all of the things you haven't even recognized you want to achieve? Are you ready to take a look at you? All of it, when you think about it, when you're not interested or needing to prove anything anymore, when you're not in need of validating your existence anymore, you sense that your next chapter is about meaning. It's about purpose. It's about, what has it all been about? What am I all about? That's exactly what I want to speak to. That's exactly where I want to take you. I want to take a look at. And as we go through more and more of this, um, it really is about initiation. It's about taking our leadership to a place that allows us to be so much more present to the meaning of our lives, to the purpose of our lives, to why have I developed these leadership skills? What is it that I want to do with it? In truth, it comes down to, what is the legacy I want to talk about? In this space, I want to talk about leadership, legacy, identity, and what it means to really live the last half of your journey awake, alive, and aligned. At some point, you realize, I don't need a whole lot more education. I want to be learning until the day I die. I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. I want to keep expanding. But that doesn't mean I want to keep going back to school. I want to keep getting those educations. What it may also mean is that I want to learn more about, what is the real meaning of my success? What is the real meaning of my gifts, my skills here on this planet? It's not really about adding more after some point. It's about becoming more and more honest, more and more real. If this resonates with you, this is where we're going. This is what we're going to be doing here. This channel is for leaders, and every one of us is called to leadership. Every single one of us is called to leadership. But it's for leaders in their second stage of authority, where success matures, where success becomes more about significance. It really is about letting go of those things that called us into impulse, that caused us to be something out there that we thought was needed, we thought was expected. But now it's about, who are you? What is the meaning in your life? What is the meaning in who you are and what you're doing and where you want to go? Because the truth is, when we're gone, we've left a legacy. And for some, legacy is about money. But in truth, the legacy is about, how are you living your life so that with all of the skills you've developed, with all of the abilities you've developed, what is the final impact you're going to leave when you're gone? And it may seem like 40, 50, 60 is much too young to think about it, but the truth is, it's never too soon to think about it. I hope we can go on that journey together, because certainly it's something I'm looking at for myself. What is the legacy I want to leave? What is the legacy? What's the impact I want to leave? And I want to leave for a few dozen years. But what's the legacy I want to leave when I do? Let's walk that road together.